is Ron Reynolds, and I'm live at the courthouse where a verdict has just come down. Judge Michaels has ruled that Nicholas Pierce, better known as the Polaroid Prowler, has been sentenced to life in prison without parole for the kidnapping and murder of 4-year-old Crystal Hayward. Well, I tell you what, Nicholas Pierce surprised everyone by pleading guilty to this, so it was really no surprise today. It was more of a relief type of situation when the verdict came down. Speaking of relief, here's a gentleman who has worked on this case, lead FBI investigator Mark Gonzalez. And Mark, are you relieved today that this is over?
Over? This isn't over.
What do you mean? I mean, the plea is in. He's guilty.
We still have 5 missing victims. We don't know where they are or what happened to them. Until we get some additional information, this is far from over. Look, if anybody has any information that can help us find these victims, please contact our offices.
All right, well, there you have it. That's the situation down here at the courthouse. We'll have more updates as they come available.
Starting to get the feeling you're not here just to say hi to an old friend.
It's about Nick.
Should have called first.
This piece of shit hasn't opened up his mouth since the day we caught him. But now he wants to talk.
So talk to him.
Nick will only talk to you.
Let me think about it.
I don't know why, but he wants your students to be involved.
What? You out of your mind? My students? Why?
I don't know, and frankly, I don't care.
I can't help you. I'm sorry.
You may think that I'm doing this just to pad my resume, but you've never had to look a victim's wife in the face, or a mother who's hoping you're some kind of a mythical god who's come to save the day. I can never be that mythical god, but maybe you can be. This is our last chance. These victims deserve a proper burial, and these families deserve some kind of closure. Just think about it. Zeus.
Zeus.
God of all gods.
If you're planning to reference Greek mythology, you should read the book all the way to the end. Zeus was a prick. Trying to compare me to anyone, it should be Prometheus.
Prometheus. You're more like Zeus the prick.
What are you doing here, John? Hey, it wasn't my idea. Gonzo wouldn't listen.
That's where you could help us with the case after 4 years of silence. Professor, it's about time you showed up. I was just talking to your students about the Pierce case.
Say goodbye to Captain Gonzalez. He was just leaving.
I was just getting warmed up.
Captain? This is not the time or the place.
Then when? Where?
When you come into my class and talk to my students without my permission.
You left me no choice. Finished that book last night. Chained to a mountain for eternity. That's what you meant when you said your hands were tied.
You broke the code.
Well, at least Prometheus had the balls to take on Zeus. Why don't you call me when you find yours?
Class, open up your books to page 137.
Well, if nobody else is going to say anything, what are you afraid of?
Excuse me?
Why don't you want to talk to him?
All right? Want to talk about him? Let's talk. Nicholas Pierce, otherwise known as...
The Polaroid Prowler.
How many of you followed this case? And if you did, how much do you remember?
Everybody remembers that. I mean, next to Dahmer, he was the worst serial killer from here.
In the spring of 2003, 5 people went missing over the course of 2 to 3 months. To this day, no one knows what happened.
What does that have to do with you, Professor?
He was one of the professor's students.
Why didn't you ever tell us?
I had nothing to add.
Professor, I have the feeling you're holding back some information from us.
Is that right?
Your relationship with Nicholas Pierce was a lot more than you're leading us to believe, wasn't it?
No, he was just one of the many students I have every year.
Then why will he only talk to you?
I don't know.
Okay, is it just me, or does it seem completely insane that after 4 years of silence, Nicholas Pierce just pulls a 180 and decides to confess? And out of everybody he could talk to, he chooses the professor. Does that make any sense?
Enough.
I mean, if what he's saying is true, then...
I said enough. Nicholas Pierce was the most promising student I ever had. No matter how strong you felt on a subject, if you spent enough time with him, he could eventually turn you around to his point of view.
Why won't you talk to him, or let us talk to him?
It's one thing for me to talk to him, but I can't put you through that.
How can you be so selfish?
Mario!
Oh, fuck that. He's always talking about how we should do the right thing. But right here, right now, it conveniently doesn't matter. We have a chance here. It's our opportunity to dissect one of the most prolific serial killers of our time. He just wants to sit on his ass because he's too afraid to confront him. It's bullshit.
Mario, stop.
All right, no, maybe he's right. Maybe I am being selfish, but this is my call. This is my class. I decide what we're going to discuss. End of discussion. So chapter 11, we're having a pop quiz. I'll be back in an hour. Be ready. Are you ready? Answer all questions completely and honestly. Pass them back.
What is this? How's my relationship with my family, my parents, my siblings?
Where you are currently employed.
Well, why do you want to know that?
It's not for me.
So we get to do this. We get to interview the guy?
Not all of you.
Why not?
Against my better judgment, I phoned Captain Gonzalez's office. They faxed over this questionnaire that you see lying before you.
And so the game begins.
You have no idea. Not all of you are going. Me, I've been grandfathered in. He's going to hand select a few others to come along.
Who?
He's doing the picking. The packets are numbered. The number takes the place of your name. He's going to hand select whoever he wants to accompany you.
So how many of us get to go?
That's up to him.
Why does he want to know about us?
If he chooses you, you'll find out soon enough.
How do we know that he won't use these to
Track us down and kill us.
He won't know who you are unless you tell him. Leave out your name, just stick to mother, father, brother.
Is this a part of our grade?
No. And anyone that does not want to participate is free to leave now. Class is over. Not surprised.
Everyone come find a seat around the table, please. Thank you all for coming. We don't have a lot of time, so let's get started. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with each case. Nick is set to arrive at 11 o'clock. That leaves us a little time to prepare. In 2003, 5 people went missing over a period of several months without a trace. leaving nothing behind except a picture on their doorstep, taken by the abductor. These photographs appear to be taken without the victim's knowledge. They were probably taken when he first noticed him, in front of the store, across the street. All that we had linked the victims together until we found Nick.
You found Nick? You make it sound like you were looking for him.
When we came upon Nick during a traffic stop, we found his camera. And we realized we had our guy. And this sweater. It belonged to Crystal Hayward. We matched the blood stains with her DNA, and he had no other choice but to confess to her murder.
What about his childhood? We know anything about that?
He was a single child, came from a middle-class family. Parents are still married. Normal.
Did he have a roommate?
Not that we're aware of.
No, he had a girlfriend.
Girl in Waukesha. Right. Yeah, we checked her out. She was clean.
Last I heard, the family moved off to
Iowa, 450 miles away. All I got was a sob story about a miscarriage.
No, I thought it was a false alarm, that she was never really pregnant to begin with.
Maybe Dr. Parker wasn't that good of a friend.
Show some respect. Dr. Parker was a friend.
Was? What do you mean, was?
Died a few years back, car accident.
Whoa. Wait, okay, you're starting to lose me here. Dr. Parker, who's he?
She was my wife's doctor. Nick was in a pinch.
How do you mean?
Jessie was 17, pregnant without insurance. Dr. Parker volunteered to help them out until she was further along in her pregnancy.
Okay, and you're trying to tell me this has nothing to do with the case?
Look, we're getting way off track here. The girl was a dead end. I personally interviewed her. She knew nothing about Nick until she saw him on the news. The bottom line is there are 5 dead people. Today he wants to talk. That's where you can help us out.
4 years of silence. Why now? Why is he willing to talk?
I don't care.
Wait a minute, man. What's in this for us?
Come again?
We don't get something for nothing. I mean, if we find what you're looking for, what do we get out of this, dog?
I don't know, dog. Maybe the professor can hook you up with some extra credit or something.
Man, that's bullshit.
Bullshit? You want to see bullshit? I'll show you some bullshit. Take a look at this. Bobby Edwards, you want to go talk to his mother? Or how's about the priest? You want to go talk to the people at his church? Bullshit? What's in it for you? In case you haven't noticed, this isn't a basketball game. It's no fucking game.
Captain, that's enough.
I don't know what he wants with you, but unless absolutely necessary, I suggest you keep your mouth shut.
Captain, they just left. Pierce is on his way.
Okay, let's go over the drill. When they get here, Agent Matthews will chain him to the table. If you've got to get up, stretch, take a piss, fine. Just don't get within 5 feet of this prick. Except for maybe you. You can give him a hug as far as I give a shit. Professor Bradley will fill you in on what to expect from him. Just remember to relax, stay calm, and let him talk. That's why you're here.
Captain,
Yeah.
don't you need these files?
There isn't anything in there he doesn't already know. I don't give a shit if he takes them home and reads them. I'll be in there.
What do you mean you'll be in there? You're not going to be out here with us?
Agent Matthews will take over from here.
Matthews?
If Pierce knows I'm involved, he won't say a word. So as far as he's concerned, I'm not here.
Lamar?
Yeah, don't say peep.
As for the rest of you, let's go over the victims' profiles.
Hey, Nick. You enjoy the ride? John, good to see you.
Obviously, you're eating well.
Listen, you piece of shit. I don't give a shit what you're doing here, but you will respect me.
John, you're not gonna spank me, are you?
Sit your ass down.
You better fucking watch. You let me out my chains.
Have fun.
Nick. Nick. Can we get this started?
Patience is a virtue. This is nice. Did you pick this out?
No, as a matter of fact.
No. It's not your style. But I like it. I really do. Look at you. You haven't changed a bit.
Wish I could say the same for you. What is that? A snake?
Yeah, I know. The tattoos were for fun, but the hair? The hair was more convenience than style. To think. If anybody knew I was holding back natural curls, I'd have to fight them back with a stick.
Natural curls? Her hair was never curly.
Shit. When I was little, I looked like Curly Sue. I was only a tuck and duck away from being the next Annie.
Tuck and duck?
You know, a little duct tape on the penis to hide Mr. Wiggles.
Mr. Wiggles?
What, you don't like Mr. Wiggles? Then what's a good name?
I call mine Mufasa. King of the jungle kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's funny, because I don't remember asking you.
Oh, man, I was just...
You were just interrupting a conversation that I was having with a man that I've known for many years.
I just thought that...
That would be okay, considering that we've known each other for so long?
No.
Then what? Go figure. Now that he has the floor, suddenly he's forgotten how to dance. It's not the thought that counts, it's the afterthought. Do you have somewhere to be, Professor? Good. Then let's get started. How or why any of you have been chosen to be here today is not important. What is important is that you understand not only your role, but mine as well. I'm the only one here with nothing to lose. So despite my invitation, I can and will terminate this session at any time. With that said, I am willing to take you through the events that led to every murder I have committed, including each victim's current resting place. In return, I expect something from each of you.
And what is that?
An open ear and a free mind. The ability to base judgment not on what you've seen or heard, but by how you feel. Deep down in that place that most people won't even share with themselves. And the only way to get there is by building some quick trust.
What, you don't trust us?
Your trust is like ultra-thin toilet paper. Only if you lie to me, it won't be your finger you find up your ass.
And how do we do that?
We can start by getting to know each other. Obviously, I need no introduction. And I already know the professor here. So why don't we start with you? What's your name and why did you come down here today?
Charles. My name is Charles.
All right, Charles. Why'd you come here today?
Well, I wanted the opportunity.
Blah, blah, blah. Spare me the boring bullshit. Why are you here?
I wanted to see how another human being could be so cruel.
Let me ask you, Charles, is that you talking or the cross around your neck?
Do you have a problem with God?
No, actually, my problem is with the church.
Why?
Because they promote the evil that they frown upon.
How?
Gambling, drinking, adultery, all bad, right?
Definitely.
Well, then how do you explain the church festival?
It's just a fundraiser, man. Nothing else.
No, it's a business. Just like every other successful business, they rely on greed. Next we have...
Angela, and I don't really know why I'm here.
Come again?
Professor Bradley gave us all a chance to get out of this, but no one did.
So you wanted to save face.
I didn't think I'd get picked.
I can respect that. Don't get me wrong, you're a fucking coward. But at least you're honest now. How old are you, Angela?
32.
Is it safe to say that you put off school to start a family?
That's what my husband and I decided. I'm sure that seems backwards to you.
Backwards? That's not backwards. Backwards is when a woman sacrifices love for a career. Jobs will come and go. But love? Love will eventually pass you by. The dating scene is like a all-you-can-eat buffet that never gets restocked. The longer you wait to get your helping, the better chance you have of being stuck with all the shit that's left over. I'll be the first to tell you that my selection has dropped a lot over the past few years. Lighten up. That was a joke. And you are?
Justin.
Justin. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I get the impression that you don't like me so much.
Well, I'm gonna be a cop specifically for the purpose of putting shit like you behind bars.
I guess that I was right. You know the problem with police officers, Justin?
They put an end to your killing spree?
They have to play by different rules. They have to enforce and follow the law at the same time. Whereas a criminal is usually already fucked, and has very little problem making it worse. Kind of like the guy that tells his wife he'll be home by 9:30. Checks his watch and it's already 11. He's already fucked. So why not stay out till 2? Cops have to play by different rules.
Right. People like you don't.
Not if I have nothing to lose. If I was to kill someone and I was on the run, it'd stop me from killing again.
Longer sentence.
But I'm gonna get life in prison. What's longer than that?
Consecutive sentences?
Like what, 2, 3 life sentences? Yeah. That might be great if you're a cat burglar, but the last time I checked, we don't have 9 lives, so what difference does it make? That's what I thought. Next we have...
Sarah.
What about me?
What about you?
You skipped me.
There's nothing else I need to know about you.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
Let it go.
Fuck let it go, man. You don't know a damn thing about me.
No? Let's take a look. You never met your father. Your mother bailed on you when you were what, 4 or 5 years old? Leaving grandma to raise you. She wasn't the best, but she did what she could to keep you out of jail and keep you out of the grave. Your outlet to poverty was the basketball court, which is the only reason you went to college in the first place. How am I doing so far?
Go fuck yourself. You think I'm just another punk-ass nigga, don't you?
Until you prove me otherwise.
Listen, serial killer. We weren't all born with a silver spoon up our ass, okay? We don't get the opportunities that white folks do. You want to look down on me? Why don't you look in the motherfucking mirror? Because you're the one to blame. You and every other crack-ass motherfucker like you. Keeping us from the better jobs, keeping us from the better schools, keeping us
Well. Quit your whining already.
Man, I'm not whining.
Not whining? You're only a self-inflicted bitch slap away from getting in a cat fight. Now shut the fuck up. How long are you gonna go on blaming everybody else for your pathetic excuse of a life?
Oh, okay. You don't think whites got it easier than blacks?
Not anymore.
Fuck all of that, man.
Your parents, your grandparents, they're the ones that had it tough because of the color of their skin, not you, not our generation. What are you, about 20? Tell me, what was it like to have your own schools, your own bathrooms, your own seat on the fucking bus?
Fuck you, racist.
Racist? I think that you're a lazy fuck that lacks personal accountability and it has nothing to do with Charles here.
I never said that it did.
But you called me a racist. which would mean that I must have mutual feelings for all black people. Why is that, Lamar? Is it not my right to have an opinion of you without lumping in the rest of your race? Because I'll be honest, there's probably more black people that have a problem with you than there are white people. Whether you believe it or not, there's a lot of people that had it a lot worse than you, that worked damn hard to overcome the odds, and look down on you for expecting everything to be handed to you.
Fuck this, man. I can't take this shit from you.
Sit down, Lamar.
Well, what? You gonna kick me out?
If I have to.
Fuck that. You need me here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, power's here. The shackles are not.
Stand up.
What?
Your presence is no longer needed here.
Oh, okay. So you can dish it out, but you can't take it. Is that it?
Affirmative action only required me to have one black student. So I guess that leaves you shit out of luck, doesn't it?
I ain't going anywhere.
How many victims was I willing to talk about today, Lamar?
5.
And how many students do we have here?
5.
Not anymore.
Thanks a lot, Lamar.
Lamar, you're a fucking idiot. You know that?
Fuck you, Justin. You're as bad as he is.
Hey, man, don't get on him. This is your fault.
Give him another chance.
Sorry, Professor, but he needs to go to the principal's office.
At least pick a different file. Anyone but that one.
It's time for him to leave, Professor.
Fine. I don't want to be here anyway.
But we did.
And y'all get to stay, so what's the problem?
Lamar, you need to pass my class to stay on the team, don't you?
You gonna mess with that? Come on, Professor.
The only homework you have now is explaining to this family what your childish antics cost them.
I mean, you can't do that.
I just did.
I'm coming. And fuck you. Fuck all you.
Nick, I suggest you start moving this along before I lose my patience and bury this, full confession or not.
I love a good argument, and a shot here and there. But there will not be a power struggle in this room. I am in charge, and if you back me into a corner, the only advantage that you will now have is knowing the consequence. You smell good.
I ain't wearing any perfume.
I didn't say that you were. So tell me, why did you want to meet me?
Gonna be a journalist in thought.
That I would look good on your resume? Let's take a look. We've got Charles, Angela, Justin, Lamar, which makes you the PETA freak.
Vegetarian.
So, you don't eat any meat?
Nope.
None at all?
No.
Come on. Pamela Anderson's a devoted vegetarian, but even she'll take in some occasional meat.
Yeah, I don't think she does.
Did you see the video with Tommy Lee? She didn't seem to have a problem engulfing it there, did she? So is this just a personal preference, or do you have a problem with other people eating animals?
It's cruel. I don't think people should be using animals for meat or any other reason.
So we should just set them all free? Cows, pigs, chickens?
I would.
Do you realize that the only reason these animals are alive is because people like me like to eat them?
That's ridiculous.
Millions of dollars are spent every year to raise and feed these animals. You put a ban on meat, who's going to pick up that tab? PETA? Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I've got a real soft spot for plant life. So if you can give up the innocent torturing of vegetables, I'll give up meat.
Now you're just talking out your ass.
You want me to respect your group, but what about mine? People for the ethical treatment of vegetables. Pete?
Now how in the hell you expect anybody to take you seriously?
I wouldn't have a problem with PETA.
If
They cared as much for humans as they do for animals.
you ain't got no room to talk. You killed 5 people.
She's got a point.
Nick,
Yes, Professor?
Are we going to accomplish anything today?
You have all been taught how strong the law can be, but not today. Today you will learn how weak it's become. So who wants to start? Who can give me an example of how our law has failed, or how our rights have been diminished, or how we try to protect people from themselves rather than coming to terms with the fact that there are stupid people that do stupid things, and there are no laws that can protect that? Anyone?
Freedom of speech.
Why?
Can't say anything anymore without some sort of repercussion.
How do you mean?
Look at the Dixie Chicks.
You did not just say the Dixie Chicks.
Look at what happened when they talked bad about Bush during the war.
I mean, the same thing happened to Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, she got fired for speaking her mind. Bill Maher, too.
Stop. Wow. You honestly think that those are good examples of our freedom of speech being stripped?
Good as any.
How?
They were penalized for the things they said.
Yeah, but by who? The government? Were they fined? Put in jail?
No, not jail. But they suffered in other ways. I mean, their reputation, endorsements.
The freedom of speech protects our right to say whatever it is we want to say. But we also have rights as consumers or employers. You can't blame the government for not knowing how your own audience is going to react to the stupid shit that you say. I may have the right to call someone a dyke, or a little bitch, a cunt, or even a nigger.
Watch it, Nick.
But you have the right to form your own opinion, despite mine.
Not exactly politically correct.
Do I look like a fucking politician? I'm so sick of the liberals bitching about their rights being stripped when they're the ones solely responsible.
So you hate Democrats?
I never said that. As a matter of fact, I love Democrats. I love the whole everybody's a victim philosophy. Ruthless killer? No. I'm a victim of society.
You really believe that?
No. I'm a ruthless killer. But the liberals will do their best to make even me feel good about myself. And that way we can all live happily ever after. And eventually we'll have a world where not only will no one say anything controversial, we won't even think controversy. We'll be able to show a nipple on live television, talk about anal sex on the radio, and meanwhile, we'll continue to call terrorists that slaughter innocent people insurgents. Does anybody see how fucked up that is? Forgive me if I'm not compelled by the whole freedom of speech and censorship argument, but I'm sure that there are more pressing issues.
Sweatshops.
Go on.
I don't see why we get involved in the business of other countries.
Because no one else will.
Who are we to say that they can't do what they want? What gives us that right?
Take advantage of the poor, make them work for pennies.
But it's not like they put a gun to their head.
Well, they might as well be.
Hey, Charles, how do you know? How do you know that? What we call sweatshops might be the best they'll ever get. Might be good for them.
What? You're kidding, right?
What if that job was the only one around? Somebody's family depended on it. And then we kick in the door and go, oh, I'm so sorry, but we don't feel you should have to work in this environment.
What? They're making like $5 a day.
That's better than nothing. That can maybe feed somebody's family for a week. You don't know.
Well, what about rape?
I'm listening.
Well, remember Kobe, the basketball player? How easy it was for him to get off?
Get off? What are you talking about? His reputation was ruined.
And whose fault was that?
It was the girls. She lied.
The girls?
Look, they found him not guilty.
But that ain't the same as innocent.
Why would she lie?
Money.
Well, even if she was lying, that doesn't change the fact that he cheated on his wife.
So he's a bad husband. He's not a rapist. Look, that's between him and his wife. It's none of our business.
Well, whether he likes it or not, he's still a role model to kids.
Because he plays basketball? That makes it okay to make him a target? Held to a higher standard than everybody else.
Let's not forget that Kobe's the one that played roulette with his dick. He knew the consequences.
Who cares? It's he said, she said anyway.
So the girl's just a money-hungry slut, right?
No, but it's not like she's Jessica fucking Lynch either. For all we know, it was nothing more than consensual sex.
I ain't saying she's a hero like Jessica Lynch. I'm just saying.
A hero? You think Jessica Lynch is a hero?
And you don't?
Hell no! Jessica Lynch was a victim. The heroes are the ones that went in there and saved her ass.
It takes a lot of courage to talk about what she went through.
So she's inspirational. I'll give you that. But don't put her on a pedestal.
A pedestal?
Look, what happened to Jessica Lynch was a crying shame. It was horrible, unexcusable. But that doesn't make her a hero. Her life was at risk. She did not risk her life.
She was protecting our country.
Well, she was a hero for that. But then why didn't she share the spotlight with everybody else that was fighting for us?
It wasn't her call. She was a woman battered by the enemy. You blame the media, not her. I mean, it was a good story. It sold papers.
A good story?
Jessica Lynch has nothing to do with this.
We were talking about rape.
Yeah, here in America, not Iraq.
What's the difference?
They still shit in a fucking hole in the ground. God, the way we look at someone with a sports car is the way they look at someone with a fucking toilet. Jessica Lynch was tortured, but that was in a different country during war. What about the legalities of our own country? Is it fair that most rapists get off in more ways than one because they rely on the vulnerabilities of their victims?
Vulnerabilities?
Most women won't testify.
That's their own fault. Don't blame the system.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me it's their fault because they don't want to relive their biggest nightmare in front of an audience?
Look, all I'm saying is if a victim wants their assailant in jail, they have the power to do that.
But it shouldn't have to be like that.
I'm not saying it's easy, but you know what? It's not like they don't have a choice. If the victim decides that they want to just move on and forget about
I cannot believe what I'm hearing. Move on? Forget?
Richard Olson. I'm sure that he wanted to move on and forget.
Here we go.
He thought he got away with it.
Away with what?
It was time for Ricky to feel like an animal for once. Never even knew I was there.
And where would that be?
I used to stop off for a drink after work. It was early and I was one of the only ones in there. I remember sitting in the back and he walked in. He didn't notice me, but she sure noticed him.
Who noticed him?
I didn't know her name.
The bartender?
She nearly pissed her pants when she saw him. He was going on about how he knew where she lived and that she better not be dumb enough to say anything or...
Or what?
Or the next time, he won't just pick the nearest alley. He'll be waiting for her at her house. On his way out, he was laughing. Fucking laughing. He thought that she was just some dumb bitch. She wasn't a dumb bitch. Dumb was how he felt when he woke up, tied to a log in the middle of the forest.
Tied to a log? You didn't just leave him out there.
Starvation and a sweet tooth. That's one bad combination.
You ate him?
Me? No.
And who?
Or what?
What happens in the forest stays in the forest.
You can't leave me here!
By the time I saw him, or
I don't want to die!
what was left of him,
Help me!
he'd been picked clean. Honey and all.
Honey?
Some animals don't hear that well. But man, can they smell. Judging by what was left, I don't think they even liked him. But that honey was irresistible. And whatever got at him, squirrels, raccoons, wolves, they weren't very big on using their tongue.
So they ate him alive?
No. Ate him dead.
So he...
Got what he deserved.
Prison? Prison is what he deserved.
Unfortunately, that wasn't an option.
Oh, but yours was.
Justice was prevailed. So what's the problem?
What he did was wrong, and I'm sure that we all agree with that. But
But what?
But that does not excuse the way you handled it.
You went over the edge.
Oh, he didn't just go over. He took a swan dive.
What do you think, Sarah?
I didn't say anything.
Exactly.
I don't have anything to say.
But you work at a center for rape victims. Surely you must have some expertise. I could use a little help here, Sarah.
No.
How does it feel to be violated?
I don't know.
Can you still smell his cheap cologne? His body touching yours? Does it feel like bugs crawling on your skin? Or did you like it? Oh, I'll bet you did. I bet you liked it. How hard did you scrub down in the shower after he... How hard, Sarah?
Until I bled. Is that what you want to fucking hear? Until I bled.
There you go, Sarah.
Fuck you. Fuck you! That's enough.
Way to go, Nick. Are you proud of yourself?
Sarah.
What?
Why are you the one with shame? Why do you carry the guilt? Oh, come on, Sarah. Come back and sit down. I promise I'll behave.
I don't know, I guess somehow it was my fault.
Your fault?
What?
Nothing.
You fucking laughing at me? You know what? You don't even know what it's like.
But what are you supposed to do? Never trust anybody? Never talk to anybody? Just lock yourself in your house and hope that no one tries to break in?
Yeah, you know, I don't trust anyone. Not anymore.
Well, that's great. I'm sure that the Richard Olsons of the world thank you for that.
So, where is he now?
What?
Richard Olson. Where's the body?
Just outside of Stevens Point. A town called Whiting.
Can you be a tad more specific?
Betty and Tom Madison. Behind their garage.
You buried him?
Not 6 feet deep, but enough to go unnoticed.
Why there? Did you know them?
No, I just liked their yard.
Their yard?
They weren't very big on landscaping, if you know what I mean.
So you picked their house because you like the hedges?
So how long did it take to dig the hole?
Not long. An hour. Maybe 2. Depending on the moonlight and how much I could see.
So you want us to believe you're some kind of vigilante?
No.
Then what gives you the right to take the law into your own hands?
I did what I felt was right, not by you, and not by the illegitimate laws that most obey. Today's society is supposed to follow rules invented by people that use the term woody, not to describe their cock, but rather their leg. It was a different time, one that needs modification. Is there a problem, Justin?
I'm not gonna just sit here and feel sorry for you.
I'm not asking for sympathy.
You're pathetic. A waste of skin, you know that?
Pathetic? Do you know how much precision goes into the cleanup of a crime scene?
Never had to clean up a crime scene, Nick.
Sure you have.
I don't have the criminal record. You do.
But you've got a dick, don't you? So you must have played with it a time or two, right?
Make your point already.
What's your routine, Justin? A towel? A sock? A tissue? Don't tell me that you don't know what it's like to clean up a crime scene. Because I'll bet that the minute you blow your load, you're like every other man, making sure that everything is exactly the way it was before you started. I'm not pathetic. Pathetic is risking your life for minimum wage, for a government that doesn't give a shit about you.
You're all over the board. You don't make any sense.
Isn't that why you wanted to be a cop? Your dad?
You don't know anything about my father.
How old were you when he was gunned down?
My father was a good man who died protecting good people from shit like you.
Oh, that's right. What is it, judo? What, are you gonna kick my ass, Justin?
Give me the chance.
Really?
I could drop you in 2 seconds.
Oh, I've gotta see this. What do you say? Let's give it a try.
Let's go.
Come on, bring your chicken shit ass over here and drop me in 2 seconds.
Justin.
Oh, who's the pussy now?
I'm not afraid of you.
You better hurry up.
Justin!
Do you mind, Professor? We both know that Justin here won't do anything anyways.
What makes you so sure?
fear.
I don't fear you.
We all have weaknesses, Justin. But you know what separates the weak from the strong? Strong are better at hiding.
What part of staying in the chair did you understand? Pull that crap again and we're done here. Full confession or not.
Justin.
What?
Victor Martinez. Takes a lot of courage to stand up for yourself. Much like the victims of domestic abuse. Wouldn't you agree?
Domestic violence?
Do you realize that there are more people in prison for tax evasion than there are for physical abuse?
What are you talking about? People are arrested every day for domestic violence.
Arrested, yes, but not imprisoned.
I suppose you're going to tell us why.
It's like rape.
Please, enlighten me how physical abuse is like rape.
The victim never testifies.
Speak up, Justin.
The victim almost never testifies.
And why is that?
Fear.
Sometimes, but usually it's love.
It's amazing how you can work the word love into talk about rape and abuse.
A rapist is most likely a stranger and someone that the victim hopes to never see again. Whereas domestic abuse, that usually comes from the person that you love the most.
Like a husband.
Did you ever wonder why it's usually a neighbor that calls in to report a fight between a man and a woman?
Yeah, because she knows he's going to knock the shit out of her if she does.
She doesn't have a way out without losing everything that's important to her. Home, family, income, it's all in jeopardy. And if that's not enough, there's some women that find a swollen lip or a black eye a sign of affection.
That is ridiculous. What woman would believe that a smack to the face is affection?
It shows that he still loves her.
Spoken like a true asshole. That's insane.
To you, or me, or anyone that's free of it for that matter. But not to them.
You're talking about Victor Martinez.
Vic learned what it was like to be picked on something twice his size.
Something?
I was at this boring party, college party, East Side. I was leaving and next door you could hear all the yelling. He was beating her around again. The cops got there and she was begging him not to arrest him. This must have been the third, fourth time in a couple weeks that they were called. But once they get the call, there's nothing they can do. They have to arrest him. I remember him coming back and came back home smiling as if nothing was wrong.
So what did you do to him?
Did you ever hear of a place called Carter?
A few hours north of here. My husband deer hunts there.
That's right. And in town, there's this little gas station. And they've got this wall of pictures. They call it the Wall of the Hunted.
What? Like people's deer they shot?
No.
Then what?
Bears.
Bears?
They're not the ones you see in the movies, but they're 300 to 400 pounds on the average.
Wow.
Like I said, my husband's a hunter.
Did he ever get a bear?
No, they don't issue many tags for hunting bears.
Tags?
They're like a license to hunt them, only so many go around.
Do you need one of those if you don't kill the bear?
What do you mean?
Well, if I was using the catch and release method, like fishing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about a bear. 425, maybe 450, that I caught.
You mean shot?
Tranquilizer. Went down like a bag of dirt. By the time he came to, I had him chained to a tree.
A bear chained to a tree?
Every day for a week, I paid him a visit. Just me and my pellet gun.
A pellet gun? That's not gonna kill a bear.
I didn't want to kill him. I just wanted to piss him off.
You tortured a helpless bear?
Every time I paid him a visit, I wore blue jeans, a hooded sweatshirt, and a baseball hat.
You made him wear them, didn't you?
Made him wear what?
You made Victor wear the clothes to make it seem like Victor was the one torturing the bear.
When I pushed him out of the truck, he took off running, and he was fast. At least his legs were. It's too bad the rest of his body wasn't that fast. He kept falling down. He got a good 30, 40 yards, but then he got caught from behind. By the time he did, poof. It was over in seconds.
Did he eat him?
Who, Vic? No. But he sure tore him up. Took me almost a half an hour to pick up all the pieces. Never did find one of his arms.
You got some real problems, man. You know that?
Is there anything you wouldn't do?
I don't even know what to say. Isn't that a little harsh?
Death for an occasional fight? I'd say so. I mean, what, you're gonna tell us next that you killed someone because they got into a bar fight?
Is that what you think?
It doesn't justify murder.
Oh, but rape does.
A black eye, a busted lip. I wish I was that lucky.
Lucky?
Justin,
What?
tell him about it.
Fuck you.
About what?
Tell him about your stepfather, Justin. You hated him, didn't you?
And you do not need to go there with him.
Was it just the fact that he tried to replace your dad? Or was there more? How did he treat your mother? Did he love her? Oh, I'll bet he did. I'll bet he showed her all the time.
Nick, that isn't what this is about.
In fact, I'll bet she loved him more than your father.
The question is, did you love him more than your father?
Dad! Hey! Let him go! Let him go! What the hell you think you're doing? He's the one playing fucking game! This isn't about you.
Justin. What? I'll make you a deal. You give me what I want, and I'll leave you alone. How old were you?
14.
And what happened?
I guess she got sick of crying herself to sleep. Thought she needed to move on.
But you didn't?
We were doing fine without Jack. But she married him anyway.
And what was that like?
It sucked. My mother replacing my dad was bad enough, but this asshole was not gonna be my father.
Did you tell him that?
Of course I did. We decided early on that we were never gonna get along. It was the only thing we agreed on.
Did that work?
For a while. A year, maybe 2, until he started slapping my mother around.
And then?
Get over here! Get over here!
And what?
Get on up here!
Well, what did you do about it?
What could I do about it? I felt...
Helpless.
My dad was a cop. He would have killed him if he knew what was going on.
But he wasn't there, was he?
No. And I didn't have the balls to do anything about it.
So that's why you got into judo.
Yeah, but by the time I finally felt like I could take him on, he was long gone. I never saw him again.
Jeff and Marie Wilson.
Who the hell is that?
Just east of Carter. About 10 feet off the southwest corner of the house. Bad things happen to good people. And laws are supposed to prevent that from happening. But every system can be broken. There will always be someone stronger, someone quicker, and someone smarter.
What about Crystal Hayward? What's it like to overpower a 4-year-old little girl? How tough do you have to be to do something like that?
Every system has vulnerabilities.
So you think you're smarter than the system, don't you?
Well, if you're so smart, then why did you drop out of school?
Because a library card was cheaper. College is a fucking joke.
College is what you make of it.
The only difference between college and a library card is an attendance sheet.
That's not true.
Sure, if you're a doctor or a lawyer.
What about a teacher?
Some. But you can't tell me that a 4th grade math teacher needs 4 years of college.
Well, you know, some of us need that piece of paper, man.
Why? Because you're black?
African American. And yes, partially because of that.
African American? What the hell does your nationality have to do with this?
My nationality?
Yeah, like white people that are German or Polish or Irish.
First of all, African is my race. Second of all, it's not a country, so it can't be a nationality.
So call it a continentality.
That's ridiculous.
No, ridiculous is how my people are punished for narrowing down their heritage to a country rather than the whole fucking continent.
Well, okay, I assume that you refer to your people as in white people.
White people? No. Asians.
Asians? You're not from Asia.
Sure I am.
Which part?
Cauc. It's the white part. What, you never heard of Caucasia?
Oh, so you want equality.
I gave up on that years ago.
What then?
I don't care if you have your own newspapers or magazines or television stations. Hell, I don't even care about February. Take it.
So this is all about a double standard.
If If you were to call me Mr. Clean based on my appearance, it'd be funny. But if I were to call a black buckwheat based on his, now it's racial. Does that make sense to anyone other than Charles here?
Okay, consider it retribution.
For what? What did I ever do?
You expect us to pay for our parents' or grandparents' mistakes?
I might not know how it felt to be black prior to the 70s or 80s. But at only 20 years old, either do you. But I do know how it feels to wake up to the news of another athlete facing charges for drugs or even murder, hoping that he is white, just so that I can talk about it without being accused a racist.
Here we go. Distill everything down to a cultural stereotype. So let me guess, all black athletes are criminals.
No, you fucking idiot. All I'm saying is that I deserve the right to form an opinion based on fact, and not the color of someone's skin. If I have a problem with OJ, don't assume it is because he is black and Nicole was white. Because Nicole could have been black and it wouldn't have changed my opinion of OJ.
Okay, fine, maybe not you. But what about all the people that wanted him found guilty because he was black, okay? Was that right?
About as right as the support he got for being black.
Well, somebody had to stick up for him.
Other murderers maybe, but not other blacks. What this country doesn't understand is that the baby boomers started a trend in the right direction, and that the majority of white America not only began to accept blacks, but started to idolize them.
Us? We were idolized by white people. I'm sorry, I must have missed that memo.
I grew up in a predominantly white area, but you know who I wanted to be like?
Who?
Bill Cosby and Walter Payton. They didn't get where they did because they were black, they got there despite it. So believe what you want to believe. But from my eyes, they weren't just talented niggas, because we loved them just as much as you did.
So because you like two people who happen to be black, then that must mean that you like all black people. Is that your reasoning?
No, not at all. There's plenty of dumb niggers out there.
Excuse me?
Robert Edwards, an unemployed thug. Blame society for what he became. Blame the white man. Blame me.
So that makes him a dumb nigger.
Bobby? Not anymore, it doesn't.
How can you sit there and...
Don't let him get to you.
Just outside of Madison, about 20 miles, there's an area that you don't just drive through. If you're there for a reason. Nothing but old farmhouses. Roads aren't even paved, not like in the city. No lights, no people. There's probably only 15 houses along a 9-10 mile stretch. And they're at least half a mile off the road. Bobby was a cocky little fucker. At least until he woke up, because then he was singing a different tune. I guess a 10-foot rope tied to your ankles and connected to the bumper of my truck will do that.
How deep does your sickness go?
Oh, just wait. It gets better. I even put an old football helmet on him.
Prolong the inevitable.
One blow to the head and he'd have been out. No. He was gonna feel every last stone. A pain so severe that your body eventually just shuts down. Now that takes a long time. Well, at least 3-4 miles worth anyway.
3 to 4 miles?
Yeah, but it's not like I went fast. I never got over 10 miles an hour. But that boy could scream.
Screaming. And you didn't stop. You just kept on.
Oh, shit, yeah. I was gonna tape up his mouth, but I wanted to hear him. But that boy had some real pipes. Church choir quality. Eventually I had to pierce a hole in the muffler just to bleed out the sound.
All that because he was black?
Well, that's just what he wanted us to believe.
Then why?
When he removed his body from the road, did you wear gloves? Take universal precautions?
Universal what?
If it's wet, don't touch it. Assume everything is contaminated. Bobby had AIDS, didn't he, Nick?
HIPAA didn't save his ass from me.
All right, are you saying he was purposely giving people AIDS?
Sitting outside the clinic, waiting for his medication. He must have talked to 5, 10 different girls. This was no accident. He knew what he was doing, and the law let him.
You can't blame the law. If you just would have told someone.
Who, the cops? So he can spread it through the jail? No. Slow and painful. If he would have worn his own helmet, he wouldn't have had to wear mine.
What about the women?
The women?
They obviously didn't care about disease.
Yeah, I'm sure they wanted AIDS.
They took that risk.
Risk? Even if you protect yourself, there's still risk. Nothing is 100%.
What about a condom?
Even a condom is only 99% reliable, which means it only takes 1 out of 100 to fail.
Thanks, Charles. I'll remember that next time I screw 100 chicks with AIDS.
Wait, how many people do you know have AIDS? Do you have any idea how they feel?
Look, I'm not saying...
Then don't, all right? Don't talk about things you don't understand. My sister died 3 years ago. And I can still smell the chemo like it was yesterday. Her house was like a hospital room. Machines and tubes. She suffered, man. Man, did she suffer. I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't do anything but just hold her hand and pray. You know? Pray that God would hear me and come and take her away. I mean, one mistake made in the spur of the moment. She didn't deserve that much pain.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't know.
You probably don't know what a bed sore feels like, or how awful the cocktail tastes and what it does to your body. And you probably never asked for a double dose of morphine just to help you put you out of your misery.
Shit, dude. I said I was sorry.
Someone's dick can be a loaded weapon, but yet their feelings are more important than our lives.
Now that you've identified some problems, how about some solutions?
I think that I have.
Reasonable solutions.
How about bracelets?
Like a medical tag that you'd wear all the time?
But what about the people who don't try to expose someone else on purpose? Is that really fair to them?
I don't care what's fair. Imagine witnessing a car accident and the driver is full of blood. If you knew they had AIDS, would you risk your life for a chance to spare theirs?
I can't really say for sure.
Whether or not you're willing to take that chance, that's your choice. And no one's feelings should dictate our survival.
All right, so I guess homosexuals should have to wear the bracelet too.
Or how about the homeless? Since we're putting bracelets on everything.
How about you, Nick? Should you be wearing a bracelet? Have your whole criminal record engraved on it? Then again, you probably need a whole bunch of bracelets, wouldn't you?
Gays, the homeless, unbelievable.
They have rights too.
What are you guys ganging up on me now? Fine. You want to talk about gays? Let's talk about gays. No, they don't have to wear a bracelet because it doesn't take a bracelet to spot a fucking gay. And as far as the homeless, fuck the homeless. At least in this area, a bird has the brain the size of a pea, but even it knows to migrate south for the winter. So what's keeping you here? The public schools? The cost of living? You have the only job that pays the same no matter where you go. So why aren't you in California or Florida or Arizona? And another thing, don't let me catch you sitting on the side of a road with that cardboard sign that says we'll work for food. Because I got news for you. So does everybody else.
So where is he? Where is Bobby?
Jim and Nancy Johnson. Mount Orab. A couple feet behind the oak tree.
Is it the prison food? Is that what makes you so irritable?
You can chalk that up to an extensive rectal exam I had this morning.
What, were they looking for drugs? Or just a routine prostate?
You're about as funny as the warden. Asshole found the biggest doctor he could. If I didn't know any better, I'd think it was Dr. fucking J.
That'd be worth the price of admission.
You think that's funny? Have you ever seen Dr. J's hands? I didn't know if he was checking my ass or my kidneys. And after he grabbed onto my nuts for the hernia check, I didn't know if it was a physical or a fucking date. So if I seem a little angered, it's with just cause. Now who's got a cigarette? Come on, Sarah, I know you got one. I could smell it on you before. Almost forgot how good those were.
How long has it been? I can't even go one day without one.
1,476 days.
You've been counting the days?
Haven't had one since the day I was arrested.
Are you telling me that you can't smoke in prison? I mean, rape, stabbing, murder, that's all fine. But no smoking?
I thought that's all people did in there was smoke.
It's not exactly cost feasible.
It's only like $3 a pack.
I make 28 cents an hour. Do the math.
What? My turn? You're wasting your time. I mean, I don't have any traumatic stories to tell you, and that's why we were chosen, right?
They say that the eyes are the window into your soul. So tell me, what do you see?
The devil.
You have kids, don't you?
My kids? What the hell do my kids have to do with this?
What's it like having a child?
What do you mean, what's it like?
The love, the bond. I never got to know what that felt like.
Thank God.
Quit fucking around!
Look, it takes a parent to fully understand it, and even if I told you, you wouldn't get it. Loving someone more than yourself, having more emotion for another than you've ever felt through any experience in your life.
How do you mean?
Well, about 3 years ago, my daughter and I were driving in a car on the highway. And this jerk cut us off, hit the front of our car, and we went spinning. The next thing you know, we were on the side of the road, and my daughter was screaming. A couple of cuts and bruises, but she was okay, just shooken up. I got out of the car to look for the other driver, and there he was, staggering towards me. I smelt the alcohol more with every step he took.
And what did you do?
I never hurt a soul in my life, but
But what?
let's just say it took 2 grown men to get me off of him. Before I had kids, nothing really bothered me.
But now?
Now, thought of any child suffering makes me sick to my stomach.
How would you feel if someone did something to one of them?
Don't you ever talk about my kids.
Benedict. Father. Paul Benedict.
What about him?
Children can sometimes hide their emotions, but not from me.
What are you saying? That he abused a child?
You're damn right he did.
How do you know? Do you have any proof?
It took a little persuasion, but he eventually confessed.
What kind of persuasion?
I don't know how many, but he took the youth from children. So I took the manhood from him.
You didn't. You?
That's right. And then I fed it to him. Maybe if he'd choked his own chicken, he wouldn't have had to choke on it.
This was a man of God, right? He made a mistake.
A mistake? A mistake is not wiping off the cup after communion.
But you could have told someone. He would have.
What? Got fired? Well, that wasn't good enough for me.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Well, then how do you explain all of the things that you've done?
I did my part in cleaning up a few messes left behind.
How could you believe in God?
I don't know if it's Jesus Christ, but there's somebody watching over us.
Then how can there be so many bad people in the world? There's so much pain. How can there be people like you?
That's a part of life. If it was perfect, it wouldn't be worth living at all. In order to reap the benefits of joy, you must first suffer the pains of sorrow. There's no in between. If you believe in God, then you believe in the devil. And you understand that even they struggle for power. Not even God can win all the time.
Where is he?
Who? God?
Father Benedict.
Jerry and Vanessa Washington in Bellevue.
Near Green Bay?
Well, how long did it take you to select your victims?
Yeah, your killing spree only lasted for a couple of months. How'd you find them so fast?
So fast? 2, even 3 years of preparation. I wouldn't say that's fast.
Was there anyone you planned on killing, but didn't get the chance?
2.
You weren't finished. Who were they, Nick? Who'd you let get away?
I guess we'll never know, will we?
Were you a victim?
Me?
Well, obviously you have some pretty strong feelings for other victims, so must have started somewhere.
I wouldn't say that I was a victim.
Yeah, but something happened. You expect it from us. What about you?
I wouldn't want to bore you.
Yeah, come on, Nick. We did our part. It's your turn. Are you afraid of what people will think?
My turn? I've held up my part of the bargain.
Come on, Nick. What are you afraid of?
Don't patronize me.
Why don't you just tell us what happened?
Turn that all-knowing eye on yourself.
Fine. I was 9 years old, and I used to walk home from school. Along the way was this old farmhouse. Next to it was this garage or barn, I don't know. And inside was Bigfoot.
Bigfoot?
German Shepherd, but I called him Bigfoot. And every day I'd see him. Every day it got worse. Surrounded by his own feces and the flies. God, the flies! They must have needed a warm place to rest after feeding on his shit, because they were clung to his body like a disease.
So what did you do?
I got him out of there. This was no way to live. So I waited until it was dark. I went over there. Should have been scared, but I was only 9. I wasn't afraid of dogs. Went up to him, grabbed him by the rope. I set him free. I ended up taking him home and cleaning him up, giving him a bath, giving him some food. Next morning, my dad woke up. He saw the dog. He knew what happened. He knew what I did. He made me take him back. I cried the whole way.
What happened?
When I got there, the man met me at the driveway. Told him what happened. I told him that His dog must have gotten loose. I wasn't about to tell him what I did. He ended up taking Bigfoot by the neck and walking him up the driveway. And then BAM! Shot him. His limp body just fell to the ground. For a long time, I thought that he was teaching the dog a lesson for running away. He wasn't teaching the dog a lesson. He was teaching me one. My dad used to say that there were two kinds of people in this world. Those that think with their head, and those that think with their heart. And rules help balance the two. Even though something feels right, it might not be right. You play by the rules and everybody wins. I guess not everybody.
I'm sorry about the dog, Nick, but...
But what?
But it's irrelevant. You can't tell me that this caused you to kill all those people.
Those people slipped through the cracks of the law, and they were punished for it.
What gave you that right?
Haven't you ever acted on your heart? On what felt right?
Not if it was against the law, not if killing was involved. We've all had angry thoughts, we've all had murderous thoughts, but we didn't act on them.
Just once. Just once, I'd like to see you faced with a situation that forced you to decide between your head and your heart.
I would always choose the law.
We'll see.
We're not like you, Nick. We don't act on impulse. We don't understand you, we don't think like you, and we don't have empathy for you. We're not grateful for the things that you've done.
Who's we?
Me, my students, and every other decent human being.
You sure about that?
Of course I'm sure.
Rapists? Child molesters? Any one of you would have jumped at the chance to make them suffer. I was just doing what your precious law wouldn't.
Look, the man took the law into his own hands. The law's not perfect, but it's what separates us from the animals. What? Are you trying to make this man into some kind of saint?
We never said he was a saint.
Tied to a tree, fed to a bear, dragged behind a truck. If that's not a monster, what is?
He went to an extreme. So do those people, but I still think you should hang for it.
Well, he provided them a justice that our law wouldn't or couldn't.
Well, we ain't saying we excuse him for what he did, but I guess we could understand where he's coming from.
I don't believe this. Well, what about Crystal? What could a 4-year-old little girl have done that justifies her murder?
4 out of 5's not bad, Professor.
Bullshit! She was just a little girl. 4-year-old little girl.
You want to know? Ask Lamar.
Lamar? Why would I ask Lamar? You might have fooled everybody else, but you haven't fooled me. Lamar was just a decoy. Go ahead and tell them. Tell them that you never really intended on talking about Crystal.
A decoy?
Everybody is here for a reason, right? For the sake of an argument, let's say that's true. Why were you so quick to dismiss Lamar? Because Lamar had nothing to offer.
Then why was he here? Why did he choose to have him here in the first place?
How did he know the file was Crystal's? I mean, they never even opened it.
Why don't you tell him, Nick? Take a look at Crystal's file. Notice how it's bigger than the rest?
Yeah.
More evidence, more paperwork.
Bravo, Professor.
He was never gonna tell us about the girl. What, Nick, are you ashamed? Ashamed that you became a pedophile?
No.
Well, then how do you explain it? 2 or 3 years preparation, right? Which would have made her 1 or 2 years old. What could she have done?
I didn't have as much time to prepare for all of them.
Meaning what?
Meaning that you never forget your first. That spur-of-the-moment decision. Hands shaking, Wondering if you can actually go through with it? You should have seen her eyes.
Whose eyes?
Christie's.
It was Crystal. And she wasn't your first victim.
This discussion is over.
Let me in.
Into what?
You've had your fun with the others, now give me a try.
I already told you. Lamar lost the Hayward case.
You said that you'd confess to every murder.
And I did, with the exception of the girl.
I'm not talking about the little girl. I'm talking about the 6th murder.
Who's this 6th victim?
Christine. Dr. Christine Parker.
Your friend?
The doctor that helped him out?
Now I see it. She was in a car accident. Now, not only does it appear intentional, but that it happened before the others, making her
the first victim.
But why? Why her? She was only trying to help you.
Is that what you think?
You were broke and she was only trying to help you. If it wasn't for her, you would have wound up at the county hospital. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Well, at least they're in the business of delivering babies and not discarding them.
A miscarriage is an act of God. You can't blame her for that.
Miscarriage? It wasn't God that laid his hands upon my child. It was her.
What? Are you saying Christine performed an abortion?
Abortion? That's a nice way of saying murder.
Hold on. Abortion is not murder.
Well, if that's the case, Dr. Parker wasn't murdered. She was aborted in the 187th trimester.
Okay, whether you believe in abortion or not, it's still the woman's right.
Not if she was only 17. She would have needed parental consent.
For all you know, they did consent.
Jesse's parents? Never.
What makes you so sure?
Because she left her shit in my car!
What are you talking about?
It was a Monday morning, and I drove her to her appointment. When she got out, she left her folder in the front of my car. It was her pregnancy folder. I tried to catch her, but she was already gone. So I opened it up. It wasn't on what to eat. It was on dealing with the death of your baby. She came out crying, hysterical, talking about the miscarriage. She didn't know that she left that folder in my car. She reached down, she picked it up, and told me how Dr. Parker had just given her some pamphlets. The same pamphlets that were in my car during her appointment. This was no miscarriage. Dr. Parker killed my child.
Did you ever give her a chance to explain? I mean, to really find out what she was going through?
There was nothing she could say. I told her to pack her things and leave.
Surprised you didn't just kill her.
She was only 17. It wasn't her fault. At least not all of it.
It doesn't matter. 17 or not, she was old enough to make that choice. This was her call.
What about my choice? What about my rights?
Whether you agree with it or not, it's still the woman's choice.
Does that make it right?
Well, what about adoption? I mean, if she didn't want the baby, she could have just given it up.
My baby? No way. No one else would ever raise my child. Adoption agencies got their own problems anyways.
Well, it's better than the alternative, isn't it?
Do you remember when I told you about the clinic?
Yeah.
Well, I was a janitor there. And I had a friend named Marcus, and he was married. You want to know why he got turned down time and time again?
I guess being friends with a serial killer doesn't have the same perks it used to.
Because biological parents still control adoption. And if a gay couple's not gonna get one, a biracial one sure as shit ain't gonna get one either.
Are you telling me he was black?
And his wife was white. And somehow laws get brushed aside when it comes to adoption agencies. They were good people, and they deserved a chance.
You didn't have to kill her.
Why? Because she was a doctor? She was the Dr. Kevorkian of gynecology, and she took away everything that I ever wanted. Just like young girls dream of their wedding day, young men dream about having a son and playing catch in the yard, or seeing the look on his face that first time he reels in the big one. She took that away from me. She made me suffer. And how many others won't get that chance because of her?
I know how you feel.
No, you don't.
I know what it's like to want a child and have your dreams of family destroyed. My wife and I have been trying for years, but eventually they told us it just never would happen.
Shooting blanks, Professor?
There was something wrong with my wife's ovaries. She didn't want to adopt, and I didn't want to push the issue.
Dr. Parker was the one that diagnosed it, right?
Where are you going with this?
Dr. Parker's neck was broken before her accident. I know because I broke it. But before she died, she pled for her life. And she apologized.
You're going to rot in hell.
Apologized to the both of us. Do you know what can cause damage to one's ovaries? You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you do know how I feel.
You're manipulating the facts.
Did you actually believe that your wife ever really wanted children?
Shut the hell up.
Looks like the doctor was more your wife's friend than yours, wasn't she?
My wife did not have an abortion.
It wasn't an abortion. Think of it more as a permanent birth control.
Are you saying that Christine intentionally destroyed her ovaries?
More like mangled. Your wife never wanted kids. And you're a tough one to reason with, Professor.
Out. Everybody out. Everybody out. Out! Get out! Where is she? Where's the girl? Where is she?
Smile, Professor. Everything will be all right.
You're more snake than man.
Have a nice day.
You did good today, Professor. Excuse me. Yeah, Matthews. Sure, go ahead. Send what you got. Okay, thanks. That's number 3.
What are you talking about?
Apparently he gave us the right locations. We found 3 bodies. We have 1 to go.
Don't you mean 2?
You're right, but what the hell do you want me to do about the girl? For whatever reason, he's decided he's not going to give us that one.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, Phil. If you want my job, feel free. But I gotta tell you, it sucks. I gotta go check on this asshole, make sure he's behaving. I'll be right back.
Gonzo? What the fuck are you doing here?
Well, it's been a long day. I just want to get home.
Enough said. One more thing. Thank you. Come on, Professor. Goodbye kiss or anything. One more word out of you, asshole, and you're gonna be riding shotgun with Cujo. Fuck you, Gonzo.
Cujo?
Yeah, our guard dog. What, Nick didn't show you the scar?
Scar?
The one behind his ear. He apparently got bit when he was a little shit. Seems to be the only thing that scares him.
How old was he when that happened?
I don't know. Maybe 6?
Are you sure?
Give me a second. it says here, 6.
So he's been afraid of dogs ever since?
Evidently.
Should have been scared, but I was only 9.
Why would he make up that story?
I wasn't afraid of dogs.
Which one?
Talk to you later. Mrs. Hayward?
You got her.
I'm Professor Bradley. I'm doing some research. Could I ask you a few questions?
Oh, what?
About Crystal.
Bullshit. We ain't answering more questions about that.
No, please. I need to talk to you.
So what's this all about?
Crystal?
Suppose she'd be 8, maybe 9 by now.
You don't know?
Don't insult me. See this jar? It's crystals. It's called a penny for your thoughts. There's a penny in there for every day she was alive. 1,476. I know. I counted them one by one.
Wait, what did you say?
What? Weren't you listening?
No, I mean the number. What was the number?
1,476.
That's why he picked Sunday. He was trying to tell me something about the girl.
Who's trying to tell you something?
1,476 days. Haven't had one since the day I was arrested.
Hey, I thought I told you to take out the garbage. Where are you, honey?
I'm in here.
Who the hell's this?
Some sort of cop, I think.
I'm the professor from the university.
From the university? Yeah, right. What is he doing here?
I just had a couple of questions about Crystal.
We ain't got nothing to say to you. Get the fuck out of my house.
Please, just a few...
Get out of my house! Now! Vamonos! Go, 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 go! Jesus, honey, come on, get your ass in here, will you? For Christ's sake, you're gonna be talking to fucking strangers.
Summer days that done fast, flash fluorescently. Strolling through my mind, I find that old school didn't teach me enough. The lonely people of the world.
Oh, Professor Bradley. Oh, you, what do you want?
Are you holding out on me?
Excuse me?
Well, you were checking into the Hayward case, so did you find anything out?
No. As soon as I do, you'll be the first to know. Hey, does Illinois still have the death penalty?
Yeah, why?
I'll call you back.
Make it plain, please, so I can see. Find my bad blood. And me and Ganesh come to rock. I call my own
no, that'll be.
Don't give up. For 2 roads, divers in a yellow one and let's travel by, and that made all the difference. Moving obstacles from the entrance on the elephant back. Spin by the tusk, you can trust if you don't watch your step. Keep stepping, yeah, keep stepping to find that right direction, yeah. I'll make it plain, please, so I can see. To find the right direction,
Victor.
yeah. I'll make it plain,
Edwards.
so I can see. I try to stay right on the line. And find that right
Big
direction,
place.
yeah.
Smile, Professor. Everything will be all right.
I gotcha.
Nicole, time to eat.
That's right. Go answer your mother. Can I help you?
I'm a friend of Nick's.
Professor?
How'd you know that?
We've been waiting for you.
Marcus.
Come on, Dad, it's time to eat. Who's that, Daddy?
Go back inside, Nicole. I'll be in a minute.
Nicole. Nick. You named her after Nick.
He gave us something that not even God could.
You knew I'd be coming.
He didn't say when, but yeah, I knew you'd come.
Then why did you stay here?
It was part of the deal.
Deal?
I move out here, change my name, wait for you, and...
And you get the daughter you wanted. How could you be so selfish?
Selfish?
You used Nick to get what you wanted. And in the process, all these people got killed.
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
Well, not until he showed up on our doorstep. He had 3 plane tickets for us, told us to get away for a couple weeks, till things settled down.
And you were fine with the kidnapping as long as you got what you wanted.
He promised he'd turn himself in.
But he never did.
Blown headlight, camera on the seat. You don't think Nick would be that careless, do you?
Then why did he stop?
I guess he was finished, done, tired.
But he said he had 2 more to go.
I know.
What do you mean you know?
Maybe he had a change of heart.
Well, I didn't.
Nicole, Crystal has been through enough, don't you think?
And that stops now.
They left her for days on end. They went to bars, they beat her, man, they didn't deserve her.
I'd like to report.
Haven't you ever acted on your heart? On what felt right? Just once. Just once, I'd like to see you faced with a situation that forced you to decide between your head and your heart.
Hello, I'd like to report. I'd like to report a case of abuse.
735 Maple Street.
The Haywards. Yeah. Bring along someone from Child Services.
Thank you.
Don't think for 1 minute that I'm okay with this. As far as I'm concerned, you're as guilty as he is.
I'll never forget this.
Yeah?
Hey, Phil. How you doing?
He wins again. He always wins.
Who? Who always wins?
Zeus. He got me to do exactly what he wanted.
And what was that?
He forced me to decide between my head and my heart.
Does this have anything to do with the girl?
No.
So did you find out anything about her?
Let's just say she's probably in a better place now.
That's it? That's all you're gonna give me?
Yeah, well, that's more than you gave me about Dr. Parker. How could you know and not tell me?
I'm sorry, Phil, but by the time I found out, I couldn't say anything.
You couldn't say anything? Why?
Not that it'll make you feel any better, but I'm sorry about your wife. Dr. Parker did save one life before she died.
Who?
Not everybody wins all the time.
Not even Nick, or should I say Zeus, loses a battle once in a while.
Cut the crap. Who?
Dr. Parker. She died protecting him.
Stop running me in circles. Who?
Hercules. Jessie must have seen this coming. She wasn't about to let Nick be a father.
The son of Zeus. She fooled everybody.
Shit. When I was little, I looked like curly soup.
Nick will never know.
We now have confirmed information from local authorities that 4 of the 5 bodies have been identified and recovered throughout the state. There is no official word yet on the body of Crystal Hayward. Now, we are understanding that she has yet to surface, her body has yet to surface, but one official does tell me, quote, she may be in a better place, unquote. No, not yet, and we have discovered an interesting new twist in this investigation. The parents of Crystal Hayward were arrested earlier today. I'm told this is not necessarily in conjunction with the Nicholas Pierce investigation, but many questions are being raised. We'll have to stand by on that one for more details. Unfortunately not. I asked that same question to a number of officials down here. They are saying they are very much in the dark with this as well. Much like the mystery surrounding him 5 years ago, there's no real certain reason for the motive behind his recent confession.
In my boots, made from your heart, you tried to hide your bad intentions, hissing words in my direction in the strike of quickness, putting venom in my drink to give me sleeping sickness. Drop, my lips never did, unsusceptible to your constricting, trying to squeeze the life out of me, needless to say it through. Evidence my snakeskin shoes went in the green oasis. Beware of snakes is the snake in the garden who shed his skin, and we're seeing the dirty trails of traveling. Snake in the garden who shed his skin, and we're seeing the dirty trails. Snake in the garden who shed his skin, and we're seeing the dirty trails of traveling. Snake in the garden who shed his skin, and we're seeing the dirty trail. Shed his skin, and we're seeing the dirty trails of traveling. Snake in the garden who shed his skin, and we're seeing the dirty trails. Snake in the garden who shed his skin, and we're seeing the dirty trails of traveling. Snake in the garden who shed his skin, and we're seeing the dirty trails. Shed his skin, and we're seeing the dirty trail.